there was a disciple of my master, Amma, she's still alive. She's a beautiful woman, she's still stunning, she's Italian. She used to say, when I put on my lipstick, I put it for my master. When I comb my hair, I do it for my Lord. When I shower, I think I'm bathing the body for the Lord. So what happens? When you think like that, what happens? You start to respect your body, don't you? Rather than think, I don't like my body, I've got this size or I've got that size, and constantly in your mind, I have to go on one diet, or I have to put on weight, or I have to do this. Oh my God, so much chatter, so many diets, so much headache, and what for? The whole lifetime is gone in misery. But when you understand that your body is a divine instrument, automatically in time, your body will do what it needs to do. We're all the same shape. It'd be a boring world. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You don't need to spend a lifetime being embarrassed by who you are, because it's so much time wasted. If you just listen to that divine energy inside, automatically the way I've seen, the way it will lose by itself, because you're not fixated on the thought daily, or if you're too thin and you get thinner and thinner, and then you become anorexic or bulimic. Oh my God, that's another hell, and I think that's worse hell. I think I'd rather be weighty than be bulimic or anorexic. Have you seen how much they suffer, these people? Oh my God, the suffering is tremendous. I worked with so many. Their mental state gets so disturbed. The whole family is destroyed. So, what I'm saying is, if you get back to source, you will regulate. You will regulate to what you were born to be. You will regulate. But you got to love yourself. And this body, which is yours, this mind, which is yours while you're living on this earth. And this is why we need to purify the mind. Purify it. Purify. What does that mean? What does that mean? Purify. You tell me, what does it mean? Anybody? Clean it up. Remember, if you can watch it, you can. Can you say it again? If I can watch it, I can change it. It's that easy. And if you feel I'm not strong enough, I can't do it, then don't insult the power inside. Don't insult that divine energy we call God, or universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever fancy word, but I just use God, it's simple. My master said, God, turn it around, dog, it's all divine. It's all divine. And there's a God-dog story. Do you know it? Should I tell the story of the God-dog story? I love it. My master told me this story. And the first time I heard it was like this. And I'm thinking, I'm so stupid, I didn't know anything at all many years ago. This is the wonderful thing about getting older. You get wiser. Don't worry about getting older. And don't worry about your mistakes. They're great, because it gives you compassion. Just don't repeat them too many times. So, the God-dog story. There was a very holy man in India, and he had a lovely temple. And every day he used to make prasad, which is food for God, and put it on the temple and say, God, I love you, and pray and pray and pray, and every day. And he said, please God, why don't you just appear to me one time, just one time on this earth? I would be so grateful. So he heard a voice. My son, I really love your prayers. I will come to you tomorrow at noon. God, is that for sure? Yes, I will come to you tomorrow. So what did he do? He went and called all his friends, so God's coming to see me. His ego already. Already started the ego. God is coming to see me. I've got to let all my friends know. He told his wife, let's make a big feast. God is coming to see me. So invited all the friends. God is coming to see me. And they're laughing. Really? God's coming to see you? What makes you so special? No, I heard the voice, and God never lies. So noontime comes. Everybody's looking at him. where's God? And there's a scratch on the door. So he opens the door, and there is a mangy dog, really thin, looks starved to bits. And he goes, dog, go away. Go away. God is coming. You're so dirty. I don't want you here. Dirty the place for God. So closes the door. God is coming. God is coming, he tells everybody. Then there's a big scratch on the door and a bang on the door. And it's the dog again. And he goes, I told you to go away, didn't I? God is coming. So he takes a stick and he, kind of threatens the dog, and the dog goes away. The third time, he said, the dog again, bangs at the door. So he opens the dog, and this time he hits the dog, and the dog goes away. By now it's way past noon, and all his friends are laughing. And he said, God is coming, God doesn't lie, God doesn't lie. And they laughed and left him. He was very embarrassed. So he went to the prayer room and he said, God, I prayed and you promised, how can you, as God, lie to me? And he heard a voice. He said, my son, you said you would feed me. I came 3 times. The first time you shouted, then you threatened, and then you hit me. Got it? And this is source. Why is there no peace on earth? We don't respect consciousness in everything and everyone. We don't respect our mother nature. Why do you think we have all these freak weather conditions? Haven't you noticed more in the last few years than ever? So many trees chopped down. So many in the Amazon. So many animals killed without even thinking. So much wastage. So when you think about these things, and this is contemplation, and then you understand we chose to come to this earth to realize the self. And now going back to my friend's story, the one who had the near-death experience, she said her guide told her that her reason for having all these painful experiences was not to harm her, but she could never get solid in her belief in God in her own way. She was too fickle. So when she went to the church, they told her one thing. She came to me, I said, God is one. And then she says, no, God is only in Lord Jesus. And then she went to another tradition, Buddhism, and then she couldn't understand all the bodhisattvas and all the language. So she got very confused. And they told her very, very clearly, we are all one. And you didn't love yourself enough to trust that love that God was telling you to trust, that love that you had for all human beings and all people. You felt you had to divide it. You were listening to everybody else but you. You didn't trust yourself. And she said, my learning here was I didn't trust my own intuition. And I didn't love myself enough because I thought I was too stupid. I was not. How would I know about God? Why would God contact me? I am not good enough. Look, I made a mess of my marriage. I am responsible for the divorce. Guilt, 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 guilt. And her guide told her, all this was chosen by you. There's no wrong, there's no right to come to this point where you learn to love yourself. Where you learn to trust yourself. And I asked her, have you learned this? You have learned that we're all equal, no judgment, that all the other stuff is just man-made. But have you learned to love you? You've got peace. And she said, I don't know yet, Nalanie. I'm a bit scared to tell this story. You haven't yet listened. That's why you're still living. I said, I don't want you to suffer anymore. You need to document these things. She told me a lot more. And when I think somebody experiences something so intense and so divine, it is meant to be written and shared with the world, or at least told to the world. And she said, you know, when I'm scared to do that, I said, where's that trust? She said, because I don't trust myself. I said, there it comes again. She said, because when I wrote a diary, I wrote all kinds of things before my divorce, and all my feelings. And my ex-husband found my diary and used it against me and called me insane. So I'm scared to write anything down. And I said, that's 20 years back. You've grown in these 20 years. Look, all you've suffered, and you still don't trust yourself. I said, you need to learn to do that. There's no time to waste. And the best thing you can do is write it down and don't fear what people think. I said, you still have that little feeling, right? What are people going to think about what I write? What if nobody believes me? I was called crazy before. Let them call you crazy. I've been called crazy a million times. Haven't you? Who cares, right? Do you know? Crazy is better to be crazy and happy than to be sensible and miserable, right? So this is so important about getting back to our source. Connect daily, and if you can, every time you see your mind go to a crazy place, very simple, take a slow deep breath. And hold the breath. And you're back again. You're back again. You don't have to do millions of practice if you can just do that simply 60, 70 times a day. Every time you feel an anger thought, every time you get a fear thought, every time you get a guilt thought, just take a deep breath. And out. Another thing he told her was, you are never judged. It is you who judge yourself. You are never judged. We all love you. From a higher dimension, everyone is loved. But because you don't believe that in yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? And then I told her, but you know, in the Catholic tradition, it's so clear, isn't it? Love thy neighbor as? I said, why don't people get it? It's so clear. And in our Upanishads, our Hindu tradition, it is, the Lord of love, no larger than the thumb, lives in the hearts of all. Deep in the hearts of all is the light of all lights. The light is inside of you. Lord Krishna, know that I'm always with you. You're never alone. So if you can constantly repeat these things to yourself, I am never alone, I'm always protected. There's a source behind me. I can do it for the source. Just make me an instrument of your peace. I mean, this prayer really helped me. And my master would say, you know, to all of us, don't say, make me an instrument of your peace. Say, I am. Don't say make, you are. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and trust yourself. And of course, the more you practice, the stronger you become. You don't practice, you're not going to go back to source. And the other thing he told her, which we all know here, is the power of prayer. And he was teaching her how it worked. He said, when you pray for something good for someone, from your heart, we hear you because we are love. So it's like a network, a matrix of sound effects that go through the world and touch the person that you want them to touch. When you work in love, we are all there with you. When you're working in ego and pride, we cannot be in that. We're not in your dimension. But when you're in your higher self, what we call the higher self, we are always with you. We will give you the power you need to go through whatever sorrow you have. We will give you everything you need, but you have to be in connection. You can't be on the lower, you can't be on a lot of drugs, a lot of fear, a lot of anger, Fear is our downfall. What did we say fear was?
False evidence appearing real.
Thank you. False evidence appearing real. I guess our world is in fear now, right? Our world is in fear, and this is what we must, this is why we suffer. So don't get involved with the fear jargon, the words that people tell you. Live in the source. This is the time we really can hold on to that light, to that sound, and this is why we do mantras and we sing, and that's why, as we were sitting yesterday at a breakfast table, and he said, your talk tomorrow night is what? And I said, back to the source, and we both simultaneously said, back to life, back to reality. Yeah, and yes, I did my first hatha yoga class after 6 weeks. I gave a class, and I thought, I feel like I'm going back to school. But because my real world is heaven, it's already there, and it doesn't mean that you don't have, because we are the body right here, and we are the mind here. It doesn't mean that suffering will stop. It doesn't mean, I have a bad shoulder, I can't lift much. It's okay, it's no big deal, do you know? Nothing is an issue. And nothing is an issue, it's no big deal. These things happen, right? Things happen, there's no issue. Don't make issues. We make too many stories, so much drama. And even if you do, if you can laugh about it afterwards, it's fine. Guilt, the Bhagavad Gita tells us, fear, guilt, worry, and anger disconnects you. Have you got that? Jealousy, pride, fear, it disconnects you. This is why St. Paul spoke about love. All the great masters speak about love, because love connects us. And so when you're feeling anguish, no, that's why you're so unhappy. But so what do? You practice loving, you practice, you can't love a person, go love a dog, go love a flower, go love something. It will elevate your mind. Sometimes human beings are difficult, I know. We can be so weird, we can be so mean. We can't we? So just go somewhere where you don't have to be around that energy, including in yourself, because you will get sucked into it. Don't allow that. Our master kept on telling us again and again and again and again, do not allow anyone to take away your peace. That is your birthright. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. The only reason words hurt us is because we take it personally, right? Don't take the words personally, and it cannot hurt us. Cannot hurt us. Create that non-attachment around yourself, and you don't do it in, I don't want to be near, that's not right also. You do it by covering yourself in a ball of light, and visually feel the vibration of light. That's how you build up your immune system, by the way. That's how you build up your boundaries. Not harsh boundaries that have to be broken down, but boundaries that are of light, of love. You protect others and you protect yourself by these boundaries. You know, whenever I'm faced with a very difficult situation or aggression towards me, I just see this light. And then I see the aggression bouncing back to them. Because they can't get in, right? The door's closed, they can't get in. So it bounces back to them. And many times people will tell me, oh, Nalanie, I'm so sorry I wrote that and that was so rude that I wrote to you. And I go, really? I really don't remember. I said, really? You wrote something rude to me? Somebody told me today, I'm sorry I wrote you such a rude reply back. And I go, I don't even remember it. I didn't see it as rude. You just told me how you were feeling. That's how you were feeling. It doesn't have to be me. Do you see? This is what we have to develop in life and go back to the source. And when we do, then we are a little bit peaceful and we can really enjoy what we came to this earth to do. Connect with God, the Lord, whatever you want to call it, energy, light, vibration. I love the vibration of that. It feels great. You know it when you have it, right? There's a lovely vibration. And we call it love, but it's, I sometimes don't think that's enough, that word. It's much more. I like the yogis use ananda, bliss. I like that. It's a kind of feeling like tingling all over. You know, and this is why when you feel that, don't you, when you hear something that is so out of this earth and so three-dimensional, don't you always say, oh my God, yeah, you get, what do you call it, goosebumps. Yeah, you can feel, oh my goodness, you know. It's like almost your guardian, whatever it is touching you and saying, you got it. Hey, you got it. I'm hugging you. You got it. Get these lovely goosebumps, right? You got the message. And believe in that. Believe in that. Believe in that message, because as Lord Jesus said, and all the great saints, and Lord Krishna, and Lord Shiva, and all of them say, you will be healed by your own faith. You'll be healed by your own faith. So if you have complete faith, Swami Satchidananda always said, nothing is impossible. So you see why I love my work. I all day long, these people are awakening to the higher self, like you all. So I love coming here and talking to you or talking to Zoom, because I know you on this path. But you know, sometimes when we don't believe we can do it, and so please believe in yourself. That's my message today. Back to source. Go back to source, whatever you want to call that source. What do you call it? God, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Shiva, I really don't care. Nature, sun, moon. Just get back to it and get that steady base. I am consciousness, so I'm going to journey through this life in consciousness. That's why all the masters tell us, awake. Wake up. Wake up, my child, wake up. Do not be asleep in this life. Do not spend hours crying over tiny things. Wake up. Enjoy the senses, but not too much that you get carried away, and not too little that you are miserable. Enjoy it. When it's too much, stop. When it's too little, treat yourself.